The instructions to bidders will be in the project manual, and it's going to give you a step-by-step process to respond to this bid. It's going to tell you everything you need to know and tell you exactly what forms to fill out and how to fill them out. And if you fail to follow the instructions to bidders, then they could find that your bid is not responsive and just throw it out. Details really matter in this. It's going to tell you whether there's a pre-bid meeting. Most projects do have pre-bid meetings. It's going to tell you whether that pre-bid meeting is mandatory or not mandatory. If it is mandatory, you cannot bid if you don't show up to the meeting. One of the nice things about a mandatory pre-bid meeting is if you do show up and you do decide to bid, you look around the room and that is your competition. Because if it's not in the room, if the company's not in the room, they can't compete. Instructions to bidders will also specify licensing requirements. You might have to obtain a certain license to bid on the job. It's going to reference all the other documents that are part of the project manual. It's going to tell you when the bid date is and the time that your bids are due, if there's any certain qualifications necessary to qualify for this, and then any bonding requirements for the job. If there is a pre-bid meeting, you should go to it. You're going to learn more about the project, and it gives everyone an opportunity to ask questions and learn a little bit more about the project. So you can hear questions from other contractors and you can ask questions yourself. Now the answers to those questions aren't legal unless they're put in writing and submitted as an addenda to the bid. So this is a good opportunity for you to see the competition and learn a little bit about what other people are thinking. Throughout the bidding process, there's usually a question and answer period. You're going to be reviewing documents and things are going to come up you're not going to understand, and you're going to want to write a question. Well, the instructions of bidders will let you know the process for asking questions. It will tell you who's to receive the questions and how to receive the questions. Now, almost always it's by written form, not electronic form. We're going to go through the process of writing a business letter to give you that practice. Most companies have letterhead, and letterhead would be at the top of the letter, and you wouldn't have to include your company name and address at the top of the letter. If you don't have letterhead, then you have to include the company name and address at the top of the letter. The format of the letter is up to you, but it's very common these days to use a block format. And here is an example of a block format letter, annotated with all the parts. So everything is left justified. You double space after every paragraph. You leave a little extra space for your signature at the bottom. And spacing matters throughout this, right? You can't have too much space in between things, too little space in between things. You really need to focus on the details of this letter. You want to set yourself apart in your professionalism when you prepare a business letter. And when you do send these questions off, you want to send them off in a way that you're going to get proof of delivery. And you can do that through any of the major carriers. United States Postal Service has a return receipt and also tracking. FedEx, obviously, you have tracking on. UPS has tracking. So you can do this through any number of different ways. But you want to make sure you get proof of delivery for that question. If that question is answered, it's going to be answered for everybody in addenda. So everybody's going to know the questions you ask. And then that addenda actually has to be recognized when you turn in your bid. So addenda is just a plural of addendum. And all it is more information during the bidding process. So you're only going to see addendum during the bidding process, not after construction. Recall changes after you have an award, a contract mod, or a change order. But before there's an award, it's an addendum. But it can change anything in the bidding documents. They can change material of the building. They can change the roofing system. They can change the specification. They can change the terms and conditions. Anything can be changed by an addendum. But during the bidding process, they'll let you know what that change is. It's a very legal document that comes to you, and you acknowledge that when you do your bid. You're going to do an estimate. You're going to look at the drawings and specifications, and you're going to determine what is it going to cost to do this project. You're going to determine what kind of schedule you can do this project in. And then you're going to start getting contractor bids or subcontractor bids to see what kind of pricing you can get this project done for. And speaking of the bid, they'll provide a bid form for you to fill out. And you need to fill out every question in detail. You don't want to leave anything to question, because if you do, it may be tossed out for not being responsive. Often there's additional forms and certifications and things that you have to fill out. Make sure you fill them all out and submit them. You'll have to give evidence of a bid bond, typically with the project. What a bid bond is a bid bond is saying that your surety company that will provide bonds later, we'll get into what bonds are, is saying that should you win this project, that they're going to stand behind you, that you'll accomplish that project. And the bid bond has a value to it. So if you're awarded the project, or if they're wanting to award you the project and you back out, they can keep the value of that bid bond. It's often 5% of the project value. So you sacrifice the value of that bid bond should you back away from the project after they want to award it to you. Finally, you're going to submit all this paperwork as your bid. That bid better be on time, complete and accurate. Details matter. I can't stress that enough. You want to make sure that you are on time, that you've filled out every blank, submitted every form, and there's no opportunity to correct after you have submitted that. So once it's in, it's over, they'll review it, and if you win the bid, you'll be awarded. If there's something missing, it may be tossed out. And then finally, if you are successful, you'll be awarded a contract.